What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another video here at the TGRDC show. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. The Dallas Cowboys are about to beat the Philadelphia Eagles 51-20. Can you believe it? Another 50 burger. Well, I know you call them 40 burgers, but I don't know exactly what you would call 50. We'll just go with 50 burgers. But this is the second 50 burger that we're going to be dropping on an NFC East opponent. Now, before we pop the champagne, buy the merch, and do everything, let's just remember that today was essentially a meaningless game. You could jump seeds based on what happens tomorrow for the Dallas Cowboys. We can jump back to the 2 or the number 3. Eagles could move back to move to the 6 or go down to the 7th. Essentially a meaningless game because both teams have clinched the division or clinched playoff games, and Dallas Cowboys clinched the division. So, but it's still pretty awesome to see this when you're playing a division rival that you absolutely hate. It feels good to just beat them at their own home turf, 51-20, and a lot more to add to it, right? Dak Prescott throws for 5 touchdowns for the very first time in his career. I've been waiting all season for him to drop 5 touchdowns. I thought it was going to happen in the Panthers game. I thought maybe it was going to happen at the Washington football game on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago, but tonight it finally happened, and I'm so happy for him. But most importantly, another thing happened for Dak Prescott, and you know it. He threw for 37 touchdowns on the season, surpassing my Tony Goat Romo, and now officially has taken his place among the Dallas Cowboys history and has put himself in the highest regards with Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Danny White, Tony Romo. That's crazy. And Dak Prescott, didn't have any records, passing records, quarterback records for the Dallas Cowboys until now. So that's a pretty big deal, especially, too, knowing that we just signed him to this big contract. He really set the bar this season. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This is something now we should expect from Dak. That we know he has a little bit of an arm now and can throw that much. But congratulations. I'm pretty sure you don't watch my videos, but congratulations to number 4. Terrific season statistically, and despite what you may say, what you might think about Romo, this is coming from a diehard Tony Romo fan. I am saying that Dak Prescott has had a terrific season, and he's on track to making his second Pro Bowl. That's pending if the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl, because either Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are going to be going as well. But just huge kudos to him. I mean, just a terrific thing to do in a regular season. Some might argue, well, hey, it's an extended season. Well, Dak Prescott didn't play 1 game this year, so he technically did it in 16 games. But for all you Romo fans, in 2007, Romo didn't actually play that week. He didn't play the last week of the season. They went down to Washington, and he only played the opening drive. So technically, Tony Romo did it in 15 weeks. But that's all I'll say about that. The Cowboys dominated the Philadelphia Eagles, and before we get too excited, like I said, remember it's a practice squad. Not only was it a meaningless game, but the Philadelphia Eagles had a lot of people on the COVID list, and they were resting a lot of players due to the playoff game that they're going to be playing next week as well. So before we jump up and do everything that sometimes we do, because when the Cowboys win, it shoots to the moon, and when we lose, it's definitely the other way. The Dallas Cowboys did something today, which was tremendous, is they got confidence, and that's exactly what they needed after a tough gut punch of a loss the Arizona Cardinals game was. Again, it was another opportunity for them to put themselves on notice, and they didn't. And but this is good. This is good for the fans. This is good for the team. This is good for everyone. No injuries as the game is about to end, which is another great note. And that's definitely the thing that I wanted to not happen or to happen going into this game is I wanted no injuries. And so great job with that one. I think there was a few players, but not starters. Starters weren't affected. And so let's get back to the game here, and let's talk a little bit about what I saw. So first thing here is the defense obviously didn't play up to par as we usually see them, with the takeaways and, the turnovers, et cetera, et cetera. But that's because they weren't playing anybody. It's because there was a lot of people that were out sitting due to COVID, injuries, list goes on. We didn't have Trayvon, we didn't have Micah Parsons, but let me just play a little devil's advocate here, because this defense looks dramatically different without Micah Parsons. Surprise, surprise. Micah Parsons is the best player, the best defensive player on this team, maybe even the best player on the team. That's arguable. But, I mean, obviously he's in running with Defensive Player of the Year. But, devil's advocate, let me ask this question here. Let me propose this question. Where's the real success of this defense coming from? Because we know Micah Parsons was a big part of it. But we were actually led to believe, we were hyping up Dan the Man Quinn, that he was the guy behind all of this. But Dan Quinn was there tonight, and his defense really had a hard time going here in that first half against essentially the bench of the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I don't want to get too technical. You know, Dan Quinn has done a fantastic job, but it's just what I saw. And I want to just propose the question because the team did look dramatically different. The defense did look dramatically different without Micah Parsons out there. And obviously without their starting cornerbacks, you know, you had Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs out, Curse wasn't even in the game. So obviously we looked dramatically different. But, you know, that's all I'll say about that. That's the defense, and I'm sure we'll be back to our regular aggressive selves going into the wild card game. Let's talk about the offense a little bit. The offense, I'm glad they were able to get things rolling. And now, obviously, we have the biggest game of the year. We're playing in the wild card game. How do we approach this? How do we, because, and what I mean by that is, you know me. You've seen the videos throughout the whole season. I'm a run-first kind of guy, whether that's me being a traditional football-minded guy where I believe the game is won in the trenches. You look at the paper, you look at the salary cap, you look at how the Dallas Cowboys are built and who they've invested and who they've extended. It's been offensive linemen and a running back. And so statistically it shows too, Dak's at his best, this team's at the best when they're running the ball successfully. Do you really approach the playoffs that way? Because I know Zeke got his 1,000 yards, although he needed one more game to do it. Again, here's the difficult thing. And I'm struggling with this because I do want them to do that. I do want them to run the ball. I do want them to establish it, but they're very dangerous when they're passing the ball. But here's the thing with them passing the ball. It all depends on whether or not Dak is hot or not. Because if he's hot and he's feeling it like he is on Sunday Night Football against the Washington football team or tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles, it's a big-time game for him. But we know that there are some games where he's not. And it gets ugly pretty fast. Not to say he's throwing 4 or 5 interceptions, but he's struggling throughout the entire game. And when the game plan's built around him and the running game is not existent, the game really struggles. And it really comes down to a few plays, and we're very dependent on the defense. So I'll talk more about that in my pregame prediction video, but that's what I saw tonight. And so, like I said, before we get too excited, we did what we were supposed to. Again, we took care of the team that wasn't as talented as us tonight. It may have been slightly different, the score, if they had all their starters playing. But, this is the last thing I'll say. Now that we talked about the defense and the offense. This offense, this special teams, it's they've done a great job with punt coverage and punt returns and punt blocks. And I'm not here to talk about the punting game. Let's talk about the kicking game because it was a concern halfway through the season. It was a concern at the bye week. It was a concern even before the season started. We all knew that as Dallas Cowboy fans. But the front office kept telling, hey, we believe this is our guy, Greg the Leg. We have a lot of confidence in him. It was a concern. Now it's legitimately a liability. I have no idea, and I have no confidence in him hitting an extra point or a field goal. And I really have no idea what's going to happen when he's lining up for that kick. And that is not a position you want to be in, specifically in the playoffs. You look at the games, you look at the tweets, you look at any stats throughout the entire season. The Dallas Cowboys have left a lot of points on the board due to the kicker, Greg Zuerlein. And so I'm just hoping, man. I'm just hoping. I don't want to speak ill over this team because I know this is the time where if you're superstitious, you better be doing all the stuff that you should be doing to give this team, we need to do our parts as fans to help this team have a successful playoff run. But, man, if this successful season with Dak and his record and the passing touchdowns and Zeke with this running and the defense of Micah Parsons and Dan Quinn, all that stuff, if it ends with a heartbreaker with a kicking situation, I don't even know what to say about that because this was all preventable. I'll just say that. The whole kicking situation was preventable because we had someone named Kai Forbath last season who did an incredible job. He actually went 10 for 10. You know? And so this whole situation was preventable. This should have been addressed halfway through the season. We shouldn't be dealing with this now because now it's the season or not. But other than that, I'll leave it at that because I want to keep it a positive video. We won 51-20, guys, and we had a 12-win season, and we're NFC East champs. And next week we get to see our Dallas Cowboys back in the playoffs at AT&T Stadium, which is pretty incredible. I mean, come on, guys, like that. This is a fun season. This is a good season, which leads me to my final question before we end this video. Where do you deem this season a success? Honest question, and I want you to answer it realistically and unbiasedly. You know, because I know immediately everyone says Super Bowl because Super Bowl is the goal. Of course, we all know that. We always want to win. You know, we've been waiting since '95. We know that. But honestly, realistically, with McCarthy in his second season, Dak in his first season into his contract, and Dan Quinn in his first season as our defensive coordinator, Micah Parsons being a rookie, honestly, realistically, where do you deem this season a success? Because right now it's pretty successful. Being NFC East champs for the first time since 2018, living up to the talent that we have on the roster, and now having a home playoff game going into the wild card. Honestly, if I could answer this question, I think winning a playoff game, that's successful. I know it's going to hurt if, you know, something happens in a divisional round. But you got to think, it's the second, it's Mike McCarthy's second season. I think what he's done with this team, specifically with what he had to do with the team last year, you know, without a starting quarterback going 6-10 and having his team in the playoff talks with the NFC East division still up for grabs going into the last week, I think he's done a hell of a job, specifically going to the second season and just dominating the NFC East. So if you ask me, and I know a lot of people are probably going to have a problem with me answering the question that way, I think a playoff win deems this the season a success. And like I said, I know Super Bowl's on everyone's mind, but you know, I think exceeding expectations would be them going to the NFC Championship. And this team can go far. I think that wild card playoff game is very winnable. It's highly winnable for the Dallas Cowboys. It's when we get to the divisional round, and if we might play he who shall not be named in the frozen tundra. That scares me, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. But other than that, answer the question. Comment down below. How do you deem this a successful season if you do? And when you do? Other than that, hit like and subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. Follow me on all social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. And again, thank you so much, guys. This wraps up the regular season for the TGRDC show, our first regular season. And I'm thankful for everyone that has viewed, for everyone who has subscribed. And I'll be coming out with some more videos here. I'll be doing an end-of-the-year awards for the Dallas Cowboys. And so I'll get that out later this week to celebrate the regular season before we go into the playoffs. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit subscribe, follow me on all social media, and I'll see you next time for the wild card because the Dallas Cowboys are back in the playoffs. Go Cowboys!